A very good morning, students. Welcome to the class Sustainable Management of Natural Resources. Living in harmony with nature is not new to us. Sustainable living has been always an integral part of India's tradition and culture. It has been integrated with the long lasting traditions and practices, customs, art and crafts, festivals, food, beliefs, rituals, and folklore. Ingrained within us is the philosophy that entire natural world be in harmony, which is reflected in the famous phrase in Sanskrit Vasudhaiva Kutumbam, that means the entire earth in one family. The phrase is mentioned in Maha Upanishad, that is probably a part of the ancient Indian text, that is Atharva Veda. We shall be looking at our natural resources like forests, wildlife, water, coal, and petroleum and see what are the issues that stake in deciding how these resources are to be managed for sustainable development along with the input from our traditional practices. We often hear or read about environmental problems. These are often global level problems and we helpless to bring any change. There are international laws and regulations and there are our own national laws and acts for environmental protection. There are also national and international organizations working towards protecting our environment. Awareness about the problems caused by unthinkingly exploiting our resources has been a fairly recent phenomenon in our society. And once this awareness raises, some action is usually taken. You might have heard about the Ganga Action Plan. This multi crore project came about in 1985 because the quality of the water in the Ganga was very poor. Coliform is a group of bacteria found in human intestine whose presence in water indicates contaminated by disease causing microorganisms. As you know, there are some measurable factors which are used to quantify pollution or the quality of the water that we use for various activities. Some of the pollutants are harmful even when present in very small quantities and we require sophisticated equipment to measure them. We have already seen in the second chapter, that is acids and bases, that is the pH of water is something that can be easily be checked using universal indicator. Students, you can see here the graph which is showing, that is the graph which is taken in a year 2017 and even 2011 showing the amount of coliform bacteria present in the river Ganga. It indicates, that is the red color graph indicates that the graph which has been taken from 2007 and the 2011 it was indicated by blue in color. You can see that is the number of amounts of presence of which one coliform bacteria, that is mainly found in which one they are saying in the intestine of a human being. You can see in each and every places the amount of coliform bacteria in a river Ganga is going to ranging from one place to another place, and even you can see the amount compared to the 2011 what happens, and 2007 you can see the amount of coliform bacteria has been increasing day by day. It causes number of problems because of throwing number of dead bodies or even the ashes or any other left behind things for the river Ganga in the name of different types. The 5 R's. We need not feel powerless or overwhelmed by the scale of the problem because there are many things we can do to make a difference. You might have come across the 5 R's to save the environment: refuse, reduce, reuse, repurpose, and even the last one we are having, that is recycle. What do they refer to? The first one, refuse. This means to say no to things people offer you that you don't need. Refuse to buy products that can harm you and environment. Say no to single use of plastic carry bags. As you all know, single use of plastic bags cause number of problems to the earth, as it makes the problem for the earth because it cannot be easily decayed by the number of the microorganisms, so it will be left behind in the soil, so that it increases the soil pollution, and even the temperature of a soil also what happens, it will be increases. So thus so we must say a single use of plastic carry bags to that no. Second one, reduce. This means that you use less. You save electricity by switching off unnecessary lights and fans. Isn't it? We can see that is many of them what they do in the time of a sunlight they are going to utilize that is a lights, even though there is a sunlight presence. So we must see that is during the more sunlight we must not use any of our light unless we are having no lights. You save water by repairing leaky taps. Do not waste food. Leaky taps are the common thing wherever you go, even in a house it may be, or in the streets it may be. You can find number of peoples are going to lose number of water. That is, taps what happen, it will be leaking, or even a tap which is on, so that the number of amount of water what happens, it will start to leak. By that time what happens, there is more wastage of water. And even nowadays you can see the availability of food for everyone is making problem too, because everyone what happens, or 1 by 10 what happen, they will be making that is wastage of food. So what we must do, we must control in the food it may be, or even water it may be, or any other things which we use in our daily life. Students, can you think of other things that you can reduce the usage of? There are number of ways to save the number of things for our environment. Third one is reuse. This is actually even better than recycling, because the process of recycling uses some energy, but the reuse what happened, there is no wastage of energy here. For to have recycling we must spend certain amount of energy or money or time, but for the reuse there is no amount of money has to be required, or even energy has to be wasted. In the reuse strategy, you simply use things again and again. Instead of throwing away used envelopes, you can reverse it and use it again. The plastic bottles in which you buy various food items like jam or pickle can be used for storing things in the kitchen. What are the other times? Other items can we use? That is, a number of paper cups it may be, or even the number of other bottles. It can be used for the number of decorative purposes for our homes, by coloring it, or by painting it, or by doing number of other any other handmade work, so that it can be a colorful, so that we can recycle and even reuse it, so that there is no wastage. The fourth one, that is repurpose. This means when a product can no more be used for the original purpose, think carefully and use it for some other useful purpose. For example, a cracked crockery or cups with broken handles can be used to grow small plants and as feeding vessels for birds. It is also very helpful. A small kind of a plants what happen, if we want to grow means, it will be very helpful if you take any other kind of a cups or even any other cracked crockeries. The fifth one is recycle. This means that you collect plastic, paper, glass and metal items and recycle these materials to make required things, instead of synthesizing or extracting fresh plastic, paper, glass or metal. In order to recycle, we first need to segregate our waste, so that the material that can be recycled is not dumped along with the other waste. Even while making everyday choices, we can make environment friendly decisions. For doing this, we need to know more about how our choices affect the environment. These effects may be immediate or long term or long ranging. The concept of sustainable development encourages forms of growth that meets current basic human needs while preserving the resources for the needs of future generations. Economic development is linked to environmental conservation. The sustainable development implies a change in all aspects of life. It depends upon the willingness of the people to change their perceptions of the socio-economic and environmental conditions around them, and the readiness of each individual to alter their present use of natural resources. Students, in the next class we shall learn about why do we need to manage our natural resources. Thank you.